Level 1, the mule. The suitcase is not yours. You know this because you've never seen it before 30 minutes ago. It's hard-sided, black, with a zipper that has been replaced twice. The handle smells like rubber and someone else's sweat. You stand in a bus station bathroom in a city you'd need 3 tries to spell correctly. The light above you flickers. The stall door has a broken lock. You unzip the suitcase. Inside, 2 layers of women's clothing. Sandals. A paperback novel in a language you don't read. And beneath the false bottom, 17 vacuum-sealed bricks wrapped in brown tape. Each brick is dense. Each brick is the size of a wallet but heavier. You don't test the contents. You already know. You close the suitcase. Your heart is a machine gun. No one told you it would feel like this. The recruiter, a man who bought you 3 beers and called you sharp, said the word travel more than the word risk. He said you'd be fine. He said everyone starts somewhere. He didn't mention the way your sweat would turn cold. He didn't mention that your phone now has a second SIM card you've never seen before. You walk out of the bathroom. The bus terminal is gray and loud. A child stares at you. You look away too fast. Level 1 is not about skill. Level 1 is about obedience. You follow a route sent to your phone at 4 a.m. You switch buses twice. You buy a ticket with cash. You do not make eye contact with security. You memorize a phrase in case you are stopped. I am traveling to see my sister. You do not have a sister. The first time you cross a border, it takes 9 minutes. The guard looks at your passport, then at your face, then at the suitcase. He waves you through. You want to cry. You don't. You deliver the suitcase to a parked van outside a shopping mall. The man who takes it doesn't speak. He hands you an envelope. Inside, $1,200. You made $1,200 for 3 days of fear. Your rent is overdue by $800. You tell yourself you won't do it again. But the recruiter texted you before you even left the parking lot. Same time tomorrow. Same bus station. You say yes. Level 2, the ferry. The suitcase is gone. Now you carry a backpack. The backpack has a false spine. Inside the false spine, 30 smaller packages. Each package contains a powder that is not sugar. You don't ask what kind. Asking is a luxury you no longer afford. Level 2 is about repetition. You cross the same border 47 times in 8 months. You learn the guard's shifts. You learn which checkpoint has the broken camera. You learn that the coffee shop 2 blocks from the terminal has a back door that opens onto a service alley. You memorize the sound of a glove compartment closing. You memorize the weight of the backpack on your shoulders. Exactly 8.4 pounds. The money changes. $1,200 becomes $2,000. $2,000 becomes $3,500. You stop counting the days between trips because there are no more days off. You sleep on buses. You shower in gas stations. You lose 7 pounds. You don't notice. Your handler upgrades. The recruiter is gone. Now you meet a woman named Daria. She wears running shoes and talks to you inside moving cars. She never says please. She says you're reliable like it's a warning. You learn what that means. Reliability means you don't flinch when the police vehicle pulls alongside you. Reliability means you eat the sandwich even though you're not hungry because hunger changes your face. Reliability means you know where the secondary inspection room is located in 3 different airports, and you know which agent accepts cash, and you know which agent has a sick child and cannot be bribed. You make your first moral calculation at level 2. Not the big one, the small one. A younger mule approaches you in a terminal bathroom. He is 19. His hands shake. He asks if the northern route is safe. You know it is not. A shipment was intercepted last week. 2 mules are in custody. You also know that if you tell him the truth and he aborts, someone will ask you why. Someone will want to know why you cost the network money. You tell him the route is fine. He smiles. He walks out. You finish your water. You wait 10 minutes. You cross. Level 2 is where innocence becomes a liability. You cut it out like a tumor. Level 3, the cargo coordinator. You no longer carry anything across borders. That work is for the new ones. You watch them from a second-floor window above a tire shop. They look like you did. They don't know it yet. Level 3 is logistics. You manage 7 mules. You know their real names. You know their debts. You know which one has a mother in the hospital and which one is saving for a down payment and which one is doing this because the alternative was worse. You use that knowledge. Not cruelly. Efficiently. Your phone has 4 messaging apps. Each app is for a different region. You send routes, times, meeting points, escape plans. You also send false routes to test loyalty. A mule who deviates without authorization is a mule who is removed from the roster. You don't ask what removed means. You don't need to. Your income stabilizes. $8,000 per month. Tax-free. Deposited in increments under $3,000 to avoid reporting thresholds. You rent an apartment with 2 locks on the door. You sleep 6 hours a night. You still wake up at every sound. The psychological shift at level 3 is ownership. You stop seeing the product as illegal goods. You see it as a system. Each package is a unit. Each crossing is a variable. Each guard is a line item in a budget. You begin to think in terms of loss percentage. 2% loss is acceptable. 3% loss triggers a review. You have never seen a 4% loss, but you've heard stories. You also learn the rule that no one tells you at level 1. The network does not love you back. A mule you trained, a quiet woman named Elena who always wore a blue jacket, gets picked up at the southern crossing. You receive the news via a single text message. Blue jacket, no return. You delete the message. You reassign her route to another mule. You do not ask what happened to Elena. You do not look at her file again. That night, you eat dinner alone. You finish it. You go to sleep. In the morning, you send 19 messages before breakfast. Level 4, the cell leader. You have a title now. No one prints it on a card. But when Daria introduces you to new handlers, she says, "This is the cell leader for the Eastern Corridor." People nod differently after that. Level 4 is command. You oversee 3 coordinators, each managing their own mule network. You no longer touch routes or packages. You touch people. You recruit new mules. You fire old ones. You mediate disputes between coordinators. You approve budgets. You authorize bribes up to $15,000 without asking permission. Above that, you make a call to a number that changes every Tuesday. Your apartment changes. 2 locks become 4. You have a safe. You have a second phone that never leaves your hand. You have a third phone that stays off unless you are driving to a specific gas station 30 miles away. You have a fourth phone that you have never used. You don't know what it's for. You hope you never find out. Money becomes strange. You earn $22,000 this month. You earn $19,000 next month. The variation doesn't matter because you can't spend most of it. Cash is dangerous. Bank deposits are monitored. You buy a used car in someone else's name. You prepay a year of rent. You keep the rest in a storage unit inside a locked toolbox. The toolbox weighs 40 pounds. You visit it once a month. You don't take anything out. Level 4 is where you learn that power and visibility are the same thing. Everyone knows your face now. Not the cops, they don't know your face. But the network knows. The mules know. The ferry drivers know. The warehouse owners know. You become a person who exists in other people's conversations. You become a person who can solve a problem with a single sentence. The cost of this power: you are no longer allowed to leave. Not really. You can take a vacation. You can drive to the coast for a weekend. But you can't stop answering the phone. You can't stop checking the apps. You can't stop because the network doesn't have a retirement plan. It has a liability plan. You meet an old man at a diner. He is not old, he is 43. But his hands shake. He tells you he wants out. He has been in the network for 11 years. He has money. He has a plan. He asks you to approve his exit. You tell him you will look into it. You don't. Because you know what happens to people who leave. You've never seen it. But you've seen the absence. The way a name stops appearing. The way a phone number becomes a fast busy signal. The way no one mentions them again. Ever. Level 4 is where you learn that mercy is a rumor. Level 5, the regional handler. The call comes at 2:13 a.m. It is Daria. She does not greet you. She says 3 words, Northern route, compromised. You are dressed and driving within 4 minutes. You do not ask questions because level 5 is not about asking. Level 5 is about absorbing chaos and returning order. You are responsible for everything from the southern farmland to the northern industrial ports. 14 cell leaders, 230 mules, an estimated $9 million in monthly movement. Tonight, a cell leader was arrested. Not a mule, a cell leader. That means someone talked. That means the network has a leak. That means you have 24 hours to identify the leak, secure the routes, relocate 3 warehouses, and decide whether the arrested cell leader is a liability or an asset. You work until dawn. You cancel 19 shipments. You authorize $140,000 in emergency bribes. You send a message to a number you've never used before. The response comes back in 3 minutes. A location, a time, a phrase. You don't understand the phrase. You don't need to. Level 5 changes your relationship to violence. Not because you commit it. You don't. You have never hurt anyone directly, but you authorize it. You receive a report that a mule was beaten for stealing product. You read it, note the mule's name, and approve the medical payment. You do not ask who did the beating. You do not ask why it was necessary. The report says, theft deterrence. That is enough. Your internal thoughts become a ledger. Every person is a risk. Every relationship is a potential compromise. Every kindness is a vulnerability. You stop using names in your head. You think of people by their function. North Coordinator, Warehouse 3, Source Contact. You do this automatically now. You do not remember when it started. You earn $60,000 this quarter. You deposit none of it. The toolbox is full. You rent a second storage unit. You begin to understand that you are accumulating wealth you will never spend, because spending draws attention, and attention is the enemy. Level 5 is where you stop asking why and start asking how long. How long before the network consumes you? How long before someone above you decides you know too much? How long before the call comes for you? You don't have an answer. You keep working. Level 6, the logistics director. You no longer drive yourself anywhere. You have drivers. You have safe houses. You have a lawyer on retainer who does not know your real name. You have an alias on your second passport. You have a third passport in a safe deposit box in a country you have never visited. Level 6 is architecture. You design the routes. You build the networks. You decide which ports are viable and which are burned. You negotiate with maritime cargo companies. You pay off customs officials in 3 countries. You maintain relationships with suppliers who supply the suppliers. You have not touched a package in 2 years. You have not seen a mule in 18 months. Your office is a rented room above a seafood restaurant. No windows, 1 door, 3 monitors. You sit in this room for 12 hours a day. You do not go outside during daylight. You do not have friends. You have contacts, assets, sources, and liabilities. You have not had a conversation that was not about the work in 11 months. The money is abstract now. You earn $180,000 per year in cash. You also control a separate account with $400,000 that you cannot touch because it is designated for emergency mobility. You don't know what that means. You assume it means bribe money. You assume it means escape money. You don't ask. Level 6 is where you become invisible. The network knows your name. The network does not know your face. You use intermediaries for everything. Your drivers do not know your real identity. Your cell leaders have never met you. You exist as a voice on a call, a message in an app, a set of instructions that arrive at 3 a.m. and disappear at 3:01 a.m. The psychological weight is isolation. You are not lonely. Loneliness implies desire for connection. You have lost that desire. You are empty in a functional way. You wake up, you work, you eat, you sleep. You do not dream. Or if you do, you don't remember them. Your memory is a spreadsheet. Your emotions are a problem to be solved. You receive word that a mule was killed during a border crossing. Not by guards, by a rival network. The body was found in a ditch. You authorize a payment to the family. You do not know the mule's name. You do not want to know. That night, you sit in the dark for an hour. You do not think about the mule. You think about the rival network. You begin planning their disruption. You will not use violence. Violence is inefficient. You will use information. You will leak their routes to authorities. You will poach their mules. You will collapse them from within. Level 6 is where you learn that cruelty is just strategy with a human cost. You accept the cost. You calculate it. You move on. Level 7, the network architect. There are 3 people above you. You have met one of them. You met him 4 years ago in a basement. He was old. He was calm. He asked you one question. Do you know what loyalty means? You said yes. He said, no, you don't. But you will. Level 7 is creation. You do not move goods. You move systems. You design the encryption protocols. You establish the dead drops. You create the false companies that own the warehouses that store the product that no one mentions by name. You are not a smuggler anymore. You are an economist. You are a security specialist. You are a ghost. Your income is $500,000 annually. You spend $12,000 of it. The rest sits. You have safe deposit boxes in 8 countries. You have 3 apartments under 3 different names. You have not slept in the same city twice in a row for 14 months. The transformation at level 7 is complete detachment. You no longer think of the product as having an effect on people. You do not think about addiction. You do not think about overdoses. You do not think about families. Those thoughts were left behind at level 4. Now you think about throughput, security, efficiency, and expansion. You are a machine. Machines do not feel guilt. Machines feel torque. You authorize a shipment of 400 kilograms across a maritime route you designed yourself. The shipment is intercepted. 3 men are arrested. One of them is a cell leader you personally trained. The network loses $2.8 million. You are not fired. You are not demoted. You are asked to write a report on what went wrong. You write the report. You blame the cell leader. You recommend his elimination. You do not know if he is eliminated. You do not ask. You do not want to know. Level 7 is where power becomes total and freedom becomes 0. You cannot leave. You cannot retire. You cannot call your mother. You haven't spoken to her in 3 years. You cannot form attachments. You cannot relax. You cannot trust. You cannot stop because stopping means becoming a liability, and liabilities are removed. You sit in your windowless room above the seafood restaurant. You watch the monitors. You send the messages. You calculate the risks. You have been in the network for 11 years. You are 34 years old. You look 50. You feel 100. Level 8, the ghost. There is no title at level 8. There is no office. There is no phone that rings. There is only the system itself, and you are the system's memory. Level 8 is not power. Power ended at level 6. Level 8 is something else. Level 8 is inevitability. You are the person who knows where the bodies are buried, literally and figuratively. You are the person who knows the original investors. You are the person who knows which politicians took money in 2014. You are the person who knows the real names of people who have been dead for years. You do not move. You do not travel. You live in a single location. A house in a rural area. No neighbors, no deliveries, no mail. You have 3 escape routes. You have never used any of them. Your food is brought once a week by a person you have never seen. Your money is managed by a firm you have never visited. Your existence is a rumor. The network contacts you twice a year. Once to verify you are alive. Once to ask a single question. The question changes. Sometimes it is about a rival. Sometimes it is about a territory. Sometimes it is about a person. You answer. You are always right. That is why you are alive. The psychological weight at level 8 is not guilt. It is not fear. It is meaninglessness. You have everything: money, security, respect, control. You have nothing. No family, no friends, no home, no name. You are a function. You are a contingency plan. You are a ghost haunting a network that has already forgotten your face. You think about the old man in the diner, the one who wanted out at level 4. You understand him now. You understand that he knew what you are only now realizing. There is no out. There is only deeper in. You sit in your house. You watch the trees. You wait for the twice-yearly question. You answer. You wait again. Somewhere, a 19-year-old is sitting in a bus station bathroom. His hands shake. He unzips a black suitcase. He looks at the false bottom. He does not know what comes next. He thinks he understands the game. He doesn't, but he will.